close up, so just come through. If you say nothing, you glow up, she can come too. Can't say nothing when he choked up, so just cut him loose. We stay calm when we froze up, that's what diamonds do. Yeah, new island, stay coasting. Can't find us, stay ghosting. My silence is smoking, outshining the ghosting. Headlining the show then, reclining my throne and fine dining, you know it. Deep diving that whoa, I'm the ruler, I'm known. All of my shooters stay closed, all of my jewelry cold. All of my Ubers are dope, Lex Luthor my role model. One queen and I throw models, so wet that I need goggles. All business and no drama.
Look at the ladies showing up. Look at the ladies showing up in droves. All the Swole chicas are dropping nukes. Teresa, Dana, Diane, Michelle. And there's Gary. There you go. The ladies and Gary. Welcome, Shvam. Come on in. Welcome to episode. And Sharon. Look at that. Look at that. Swole hose turning out. Coming up. Yeah.
Said what you want, let me know. I'ma throw you bone, then watch you go. You didn't even believe in this shit, you tried it once. And
I am so ready to get swole today. Ready.
Racks and y'all still broke. Sipping on that Henny Coke, y'all laughing. I ain't telling jokes, that's real talk. And that time that's ticking, that's real clock. You heard that clipping, that's real Glock. Your life is slipping, that's real shock. My wrist is dripping, that's real watch. My crew stay whipping,
good stuff, good stuff. Make sure you hit the share button, hit the like button, float some hearts. So as we get started, everyone's gonna start getting their alerts. Remember, you keep on hitting those hearts, you drop comments, it's going to show more people the Daily Swole. It's going to show more people. It's going to let everyone know that Papa Swolio's Schlive. It helps tremendously. It helps tremendously when you float hearts. Like, just float them the whole time. Just fucking... Your thumb's broken. Just hit it. When in doubt, float some hearts. Always. Let's get this party started. Let everyone know Papa Swolio's live. Get those alerts. Let's do this. 869. 69. 69. 69.
Without the bullshit.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling.
Now I'm hungry.
Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Pa, 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 pa. Testing. Testing. Testicles. Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 869 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, slaycast, and nipcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What is going on, fam? Nutrition variables. Oh, episode 869. As you can see behind me, if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of variables. Let me put that in the details on Instagram as well. 869. Let's do nutrition. I'm simplifying it. Nutrition variables. So got some good shit going on this weekend. I'm going to give you the lowdown first. And I'm going to pin that because on Instagram's really got to get on like with the rest of society and let me post some quality freaking video. There we go. All right. Nutrition variables 869. So those of you that follow me, which obviously you do, you might be aware that this weekend, there's one more day left. Special, amazing. The nips are out. The nips are out. The gloves are off. The nips are large and in charge. You can get access. The monthly membership for Swolenormous X is 50% off. I am making a huge push. I'm making a huge push this whole final week. This is going to be the best. This is going to be the best opportunity to get in. Do not wait, because there's 3 months left. I'm really all in on this getting ahead of the holidays thing. I don't think enough people do that. I don't think enough people recognize that the holidays are right around the corner. So rather than get 3 months behind, I don't want you coming to me. Well, it's fine. It's fine. I'll talk to you in 3 months. In 3 months, if that's what you want. If you want to be in worse shape, if you want to be in a worse state in 3 months, and you want to just start, 20 yards behind the starting line at the race, that's fine. But why not do it now? Right? Why not do it now? Why not start getting your shit together now, so when the holidays come around, you're fucking crushing it? That's such ridiculous common sense. It's absurd. It's such ridiculous common sense. Yeah, hell yeah, Adam. Welcome to the family, bro. Just signed up this morning. Excited to start the 90-day dash. For sure, man. Jump right in, and I'm adding stuff. Those of you that are already members, working on launching if you've been for a while, some new programs in the fall. Going to do the level 2 for the shoulder awareness, and also you're going to get the classic Swole weeks are coming out. So lots of new programs, additional advanced programs for those of you that are finishing or have done the 90-day dash multiple times. But anyway, 50% off this weekend only. Don't miss it. It's going to be gone. There's a timer on the site. You'll see it. And no joke, it will be gone. And don't want you to miss out. But stay plugged in, because this end of the year, the next couple months, I'm going to be going so hard. I think it's going to be like Papa Scrooge, Papa Swolio Scrooge. I'm just going to be grinding on the holidays. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy your family and stuff, but come on. Let's disconnect the food with the entertainment. Let's keep the fitness. Go get your workouts on, right? Stay on point. You can still spend time with your family and friends. You can still go on vacation. You can still do things. You don't have to be a lazy bitch, all right? You don't have to be a lazy ass. Come on. How does that factor into the equation? Why do you have to be lazy and fucking disgustingly unhealthy in order to enjoy yourself? Think about that. Think how weird that is. How fucking backwards that is. You have to just punish yourself and just eat garbage and just do everything opposite of healthy in order to have a good time. I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe that's necessary. I think you're poisoned into thinking that. I think you're programmed into thinking that you have to be and do everything, drink everything, eat everything, and just do everything that's, is wrong. It's like, oh, it's an excuse. The holidays are an excuse. It's society's blanket excuse in order for you to be, okay, can I have the cookies? Oh, well, it's Christmas. I can have the cookies. No one's going to yell at me for having the cookies. No one's going to call me fat for having cookies. I don't have to worry about my, how I view myself, because it's the holidays. I get to do it. It's an excuse. Society is giving you the okay. And do you know why society is giving you the okay? Because they make a shitload of money on it. They sell you all the garbage. They sell you all the shit. So that's why they're doing it. That's why you get the excuse from everyone. You get the blanket excuse. You get the get out of jail free card, because they make money. Today, I just want to bring some attention to specifically, I've mentioned this whenever we talk about nutrition. A thank you, first off, for those of you that are watching live, Instagram, Facebook. Remember, you can catch it live on Facebook, on Instagram, whenever I'm in the Swole Casa, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Daily Swole Podcast on YouTube, and the actual audio podcast. Remember, you can subscribe on Apple Podcast, iTunes. You can do it on Spotify. You can go to swolenormousx.com, click on podcast, and you will be able to see what apps you can find the Swole on, which is pretty much all of them. And let's talk a little bit about nutrition in the sense of variables. Now, how would you define a nutrition? How would you define a variable to begin with? A variable is something that you can fucking change. It's something that you can manipulate. It's something that will change. It's something that you have control over, potentially, not always. But a variable is something that could be different. It can vary, thus the word variables. And when it comes to nutrition variables, we have things like nutrient timing, when you eat your food. Should I, whether you're doing intermittent fasting or not, whether you're skipping breakfast, AKA intermittent fasting, just not eating earlier in the day, simple. You're doing time restricted eating and all these different micromanaging methods, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of because it complicates your life rather than most people think it simplifies things. It really just complicates it because you restrict yourself to thinking that you have to consume food in a certain manner. You have different macronutrient ratios. You have carb cycling. Those are the actual nutrition variables. Those are the things with nutrition specifically. You also have the variables with your lifestyle. You have your life habits, your schedule, you have your training habits, you have your genetics, epigenetics, and all those different factors that we are still really just getting into. We're just figuring this shit out. So it's brand new. You have, your environmental factors. You have where you live in the world, warm climates, cold climates, your ancestry, like I mentioned with DNA. You have hydration, you have mental health. You have, do you take care of yourself mentally? Do you take care of your physical health, mental health? There's a lot of different factors when it comes to what will affect your body in combination with nutrition. And I'm missing tons of them. On the board, I have thousands of variables because there are thousands of variables. And then once you get the foods, let's say you're eating a certain way, let's say you have your training, you know how you train, you're very consistent with everything, but then you have nutrition and you have combinations of foods. You have carbohydrates, specific carbohydrates mixing with certain proteins and certain fats, and those are going to have different effects when you combine different foods, not just when you have them separate from one another. There's endless amounts of combinations, plus your gut biome and your intestines and your small intestines and your digestive system that will determine, in most cases, your immunity and your reaction and how well you can handle certain foods and certain styles of eating and quantities of food and so forth. There are all those variables and more. And in addition to that, you have the combination. So when you have, for example, the lottery and you have, let's say you got to change or choose 10 numbers, how many different combinations can you get from 10 digits? Millions, right? You can just get so many different combinations of the outcome. And that's the same way with nutrition. That is why the research that is available is really not accurate, because you can only test so many variables accurately in a specific test. And then it's how you tested those variables. It's the population size. It's X, Y, and Z. And there's a lot of different aspects that come into doing a scientific study. So you want control. You've probably heard that before. Your control group, or the part of the study that you have that is your baseline for comparing it to whatever you're testing and the end result. And you can't really do a test with many, many, many variables because it's less accurate. And you lose the perspective on what is actually making that result occur. So when it comes to the actual variables, which are most important, first off, I'll pose the question to you, those of you that are listening and watching. What do you think is the most important variable for nutrition? Do you think it's the individual? Do you think nutrition is really all about counting calories and all about counting macros? Do you think it's really about eating specific foods? Do you think it's about nutrient timing? Do you think fuck everything else? Do you think the most important thing is whether or not you're intermittent fasting? What are your thoughts? So you can put that in the comments below. And there really is, it's crazy enough, right? As much as we think we know about the human body, there really is no right answer. There is not an actual answer. There isn't, hey, my name is Papa Swole, here's the answer. That is why I never have, okay, you eat these foods, you have to. You eat these foods, you have to. I want to lead you to the right direction and the right answer for you, because I am aware. And that is why you get pushed so much shit in the fitness industry. That is why you get so many people shoving keto down your throat, intermittent fasting down your throat. You get so many people pushing supplements and shoving them in your face because it's refreshing for people to have an answer, isn't it? It's refreshing to go, oh, what should I do? And someone says, do this. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I have an answer. Here, drink this. Here, take 2 of these every day. Here, eat like this. That's an answer. That's very satisfying and very comforting for a human being. But very rarely is that an accurate, I guess, outcome. Very rarely is that a good idea. Very rarely is there actually an answer for any one person. It's just easier to sell an answer. It's easy to sell an answer. It's easy to sell something that's here. This is what you want to do. This is how you do it. This is what you want to do. This is the answer. This is what you do to get in shape. This is what you do to lose weight. Take this, eat this, do it in this way. Boom. But that's not true. That's not the reality. And that's the reason why many people that do these things or that purchase a diet plan or that follow one of these methods don't get the results that they want, because that answer didn't work for them, because the person selling that shit and pushing that shit didn't really give a fuck about giving you the right answer. They wanted to package something that sounded good. They wanted to market it properly, and they did, and you bought into it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes, if you close your eyes and you swing the hammer, you hit the nail on the head, right? It's going to happen. Shit, if I fucking just go and start preaching keto all the time, you can imagine some people are going to listen to the podcast and do it and see great results because keto is always going to work well for them. Okay. A lot of people are going to listen to me and be like, okay, I tried keto, I didn't like it. And they'll go watch or listen to something else, or they'll try it and they won't really like it that much and they'll still be lost and in the wind. It's just, I don't want to help some people and then not help others. First off, I can't help everyone. First off, I can't provide something that's going to work for everyone at any point ever, no matter what I do. No matter what kind of service I offer, it's never going to be perfect for everyone. There's no perfect, you have to find what works best for you. However, when you're just starting out, you're vulnerable to it. When you're trying to get into nutrition, when you're trying to make a change, when you're really frustrated and you want to do something, you're vulnerable to these answers, or I'm going to put quotes around it. You're vulnerable to these people that sound so confident. When you talk so fucking confident that you have the answer, you yourself, the person that's selling this shit, believes that they have the answer. They just talk so much about it. They just convince themselves this is the answer. And they talk so confidently, the consumer listens. Oh shit. It sounds like he knows what he's talking about. That must be the answer. He just sounds like it's right. He's just so confident that it's right. And look at all these before and afters. Look at all these people that have great results. And it's not that it's not true for those people. But is that true for you? It's just the wrong approach. It's the wrong approach, and it's a little bit sleazy. Fuck that. It's really sleazy. And it's stupid on their part, because they just plant their flag in one thing, and then what happens in 5 years when they're like, holy shit, keto is really bad for you? And then they look like a fucking asshole, because they are an asshole. So it's going to come out. It's just not the right fundamental approach, and that's why I don't push any one thing. That is why I'm big on elimination. I'm big on really exploring and determining. Yeah, it takes a little bit more work, but at the same time, you're not going to be pumping your body full of crap without realizing you're pumping it full of crap. You're going to start the right way, and then it might lead you to keto, and then it might lead you to vegetarian. Maybe it leads you to vegan. Maybe it leads you to paleo. Those are subsects of still, what are you eating? What's the most important foods? Let's get into the comments a little bit. I want to hear what you have to say about that. Jared Rogers on Facebook, especially when it comes to people just starting out, they seek that answer to change their lives. We aren't really taught nutrition, so we get goofed around a lot. And one of the big issues is that doctors themselves are not taught any nutrition. They're not taught any nutrition in medical school. So there's no base for anyone to have some common knowledge. There is no common knowledge. Oh, it's common sense. Well, you would think so, but no one's taught this, period. So there's no basis for this common sense. It's not like gravity. Liz, I think it's a very individual plan, switching to whole foods and trying to eliminate extra sugar. Yeah, sugar is pretty universal to know, that's a real good one. You cut that out, you're going to see a lot of benefit. Teresa, I also stopped believing I needed pills and protein drinks to get where I want to be, just to have to get back to the basics, be consistent and patient. Good, wise words. Karashian Taylor. Karashi. Mindset for me, once I have that focus, everything else seems to fall in place. A chica bonbon. That's true. When I first started, that's what the trainer I had told me, to take certain supplements. That's the worst. These fucking dime a dozen trainers at gyms that just push supplements, whether or not they get a commission from the gym, if the gym sells those supplements. And a lot of times that's the case. There's like a display at the front of the gym, and if a trainer promotes those supplements, the trainer gets a kickback or this, that, and the other. And nowadays with social media, a lot of these trainers have coupon codes or affiliate links and stuff that they'll recommend to you. You don't need that shit. That's a fundamental problem. because it's generating more income. But the issue is it's hurting you. It's hurting you. You're giving your hard-earned dollars to these things that just are not going to help you. That's not the right place. A supplement will not help you lose weight. A supplement will not help you get bigger. It's not going to. Not if you don't have the foundation right. Kirsty, elimination diet has cleaned my diet up. I'm satisfied with the smaller range of foods, prove to myself that I don't need all those processed foods. And that's interesting. We'll go into that in a second. Dale, the nutrition we were taught was wrong. No shit, right? The food pyramid, what a fucking scam. I believe they still teach that shit in school. It's fucking bad. It's really bad. So let's talk about what Kirsty said about the smaller range of foods. Most of you know from what I've talked about, and I have some videos on YouTube about it, I eat a very small, I don't want to say it, well, yeah, I eat a small range of foods. I'm very consistent with what I eat with my grass-fed beef, organ meat, steaks. I have some pastured eggs once in a while, but I'll have my salads. I have avocado, olive oil, blah, blah. I don't eat a ton of variety, but I'm getting all the nutrients that I need. Now, you can make an argument for meat, against meat. You know, this is not a debate. I don't care about that debate. I don't care about the vegan carnivore debate. I'm not really into that. I'm not really interested because there isn't any. The reason why there's a debate is because there's not a fucking answer. You can throw any kind of research around, and I'm not and here's the thing. I am not disproving and I'm not going against science. Well, that's just bullshit. That's just what those guys stated. But when you learn how these studies, when you see behind the veil and you lift the curtain with how these studies are executed, you can't trust these things. And it's really hard to look at a scientific study and be skeptical because, well, you should be. And that's why scientists are skeptical. That's why they keep on doing these tests. But people swing and, throw around these studies when they're either funded by a biased producing company or organization. They are, it's one of a bunch of studies, and the other ones that didn't give the right outcome were shelved. And this is the only one that made it through. So there's usually agendas. Sometimes the population size isn't enough. The study was faulty in its execution. It didn't take into account the right variables that really make the biggest difference. The difference in, let's say, the outcome wasn't significant enough, and then people blow it out of proportion. So if you see something and you're like, oh, well, if you cut down on meat, the incidence of, cholesterol went down 8%. And then you're going to see, wow, eating less meat lowers your cholesterol. It's like, well, 8% isn't really that big of a difference. For example, or 8 points, and in other words, you don't necessarily, but what kind of meat? Are they cutting out processed meat? Are they smoking too? Are these people exercising? Like some of these studies don't even touch on those things. And it's self-reported diets. So there's so many loopholes that, okay, we have a study that did it this way, but then you have people on YouTube and you have people in media, and then you have supplement companies using these studies and then making it like it's, it's like a fucking contract. Like this is the answer. And that's just simply not true. So once you learn how it actually works with a study, it's marketing like anything else. Why do you think magazines and newspaper headlines and CNN, Fox News, why do you think they sensationalize things? Why do you think there's so much negativity and so much, so-and-so, how many people died in this plane crash? How many people this, and all the people sick, and there's poison in the water, and we're going to be at war, and there's missiles everywhere. Why do you think they sensationalize the news? So you watch it so they can sell advertising, so they can sell newspapers, because these industries are really hurting with social media because they're losing to individual reporting. And information's ubiquitous. You can get on your phone and fucking look it up. So the sensationalization, if that's even a fucking word, is getting out of control. And any kind of difference or any kind of article or study just gets blown out of proportion in part because of this. And that's a huge problem. Diane, I've tried so many different diets and nothing worked permanently. It wasn't until I realized it's an entire lifestyle change that I've gotten the best results. Over the past following weeks, following you and learning about eliminating foods that made me feel blah and all about inflammatory foods, I've been feeling amazing. My new fave is cold sweet potatoes. Thank you for being here for me daily. I actually cooked sweet potatoes yesterday, and I didn't have any because it was they were too hot, so I was trying to cool them down faster. Isn't it great? A huge difference, by the way, for anyone watching or listening. Cold sweet potatoes, the starch becomes more resistant, so it's better. So if you cook sweet potatoes, let them cool first to at least room temperature. I put them in the fridge, and I just have them cold. But you can heat them up after, and it'll still be fine. And if you cool them down, if you heat them up again and then you cool them down again, the starch will be more resistant. But cool them down first before you eat them, and you'll see a huge difference. You'll feel less bloated and stuff. I missed that, Steve. What'd you say here? Let's see. After our episode of the Swole a few months ago, I really cracked down on my nutrition. Oh, it's not showing me the whole text here. Bummer. I'll have to catch that one later. The testers' eating habits also come into play in who they were themselves. Were they unhealthy or healthy? Did they strictly follow the ways it was supposed to go in the study? Or did they do their own thing while the test? It's hard to figure out how a study was done, especially with manipulation. And it is. And, that's the thing. How many people read the fucking studies? How many people really read the studies? It's very easy to headline read when you look at the news. It's very easy to headline read when you look at studies. A lot of people just read the abstract or the conclusion at the beginning of the study, and that's it. They don't look at the actual graphs. They don't look at the actual standard deviations, the statistics. How many people understand statistics, let alone fucking paid attention in school? It's fucking nauseating. Some people like it, but it's very hard to understand statistics if you're not familiar. And most people don't even touch that. So it's very easy to just gloss over it and then read headlines. Resistant starch just doesn't impact your blood sugar as much. So you don't get that same kind of like insulin spike. So you're less likely to have issues from that. It's like less sugar, essentially. Easiest way to simplify it. So it's not like a sugar rush, less insulin response, which helps minimize body fat storage and impact. But you'll notice a difference if you have cold sweet potatoes versus hot sweet potatoes, like fresh. You'll notice a difference in digestion, in my opinion. I do. I personally do. So there's so many variables already. There are so many factors that make a diet, which is a way of eating. I don't dislike the word diet. I think a lot of people try to latch onto that. Like, I hate the word diet. It's, it gives you this idea. Nah, fuck that. Diet is way of eating. Diet is the sum, the accumulation, everything that you're consuming in your lifestyle. Diet is a very good word. It's a very fundamental word. I'm not going to let the marketing fucking ruin it. Oh, I don't like the word diet because it has the word die in it. You fucking idiot. Idiot has the word idiot in it too. I hate that shit. Diet has the word die. It's negative connotation. No, it's a completely different word. It's called language. You might want to check it out sometime. Language makes a big difference. Understanding, having a brain on top of your shoulders helps sometimes. There's a lot to be confused about because there are so many variables, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of different combinations out there. It's very easy to come into fitness and be like, what the fuck is going on? What do I do? I don't think it's that complicated, and I think most people make it far more complicated than it has to be. That's why the elimination diet approach is so simple, because it is. Not a lot of people want to whittle down their nutrition to a few foods to make sure that they're responding well, because it takes work. It's so easy to just, hey, I'm going to go keto. There are people that would rather go keto and just drop all carbs and just pound fat all fucking day than actually cut down on foods. Yeah, it's restrictive for a couple weeks, but then you're actually getting good feedback. You're going to actually get good information from your body. People go to such extremes. They'll go to raw vegan before they do an elimination. It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? There are so many vegans on YouTube. So many vegans on YouTube that here we go. Oh, here we go, Steve. I'll get to that point in a second. I see Steve's comment now. After our episode of the Swole a few months ago, I really cracked down. I don't think it was was it months, Steve? If it was like a month ago, maybe. Time flies, so I'm probably off. I really cracked down on my nutrition, focus on eating the foods my body reacts well to, that are nutritious and beneficial to long-term health, more fats and carbs compared to being pretty low carb and high protein. cut out all my supplements. My eyes were opened after we spoke. I noticed that they weren't doing much for me. I feel a ton better. It's amazing. Isn't that great? That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. Good to hear. Yeah, there are a lot of vegan vloggers and stuff on YouTube. And I catch that once in a while because I don't know, I don't know what YouTube is thinking. I guess they want me to do like some rage videos on it. But I get these, suggested videos. One video ends and then other ones pop up. Hey, you might like this video. You might like this video. And there are a bunch of these vegan vloggers, and they have all these health issues. They have all these health issues, right? They're having bloating issues and diarrhea, or they feel uncomfortable. So they're, and it's like, well, maybe because you're being a vegan, maybe because you're just eating plants and fucking beans and fake shit all the time. Maybe because your body is asking for some real food. Maybe being vegan isn't the best thing for you. I think there's also an ego thing too, because if you make your whole channel about being vegan or plant-free lifestyle, or I mean animal-free or plant-based lifestyle, for example, if that's probably a channel name somewhere, but that's not what I'm talking about. I just made that up, but I'm sure someone has it. Then if you're not doing it anymore, you're not being off, you based your whole social media presence on not eating animal products. What are you going to do? Leave it? So you're stubbornly sticking with it as if that's the answer, as if being a vegan is automatically the answer. And that's what bothers me. And that's what makes a lot of people sick and unhealthy. And there are a lot of these channels that they openly talk about trying to deal with their health issues. And it's like, well, maybe fundamentally, it's not manipulating and tweaking all these different things within the vegan narrow mindset. Maybe it's just not the best thing for you is to be a vegan. It's okay. It's okay to have bad health response for being a vegan. Some people can do it. Most people can't, which is why most people don't, because it's not really sustainable for most people. It's not the best outcome and the best answer for most people. It's just the way it is. And there's so many people that have these issues, and it's like, fuck, I mean, it's right in front of you. Probably what you're doing fundamentally is not good for your body. And again, this is not a pro-meat or anti-vegan conversation. It's just some people can do it. A lot of people can't, which is why a lot of people don't. That's it. That's it. Sometimes things work for people. Sometimes things don't. And it's okay. It's okay to not be able to only eat plant-based things. We're not meant to just fucking eat plants. We're not. That's why we miss nutrients when we only eat plants. So we're not meant to only do that. It's still up in the air what's the best nutrition for humans. And getting back to what Kirsty said about narrowing your foods, think about how humans are fundamentally. We live in one area, right? We don't, without planes and travel, we live in one area and one climate. So if you're living in one area and one climate, especially through evolution, you're getting limited foods. You're not getting all the food from all over the world. You're getting it from wherever you live locally. What can you grow in Florida? What can you hunt in Florida? What can you grow in Montana? What can you hunt in Montana? No one's eating fucking lettuce without refrigeration. No one's eating lettuce in December in Montana. You're hunting elk. You're hunting caribou and fucking whatever else is up there. So, and that's like how every year works. You're just on a cycle. You're not getting things from Bolivia. You're not getting fruit from France or from Mexico. You're eating whatever environment you're in. And that's going to be a narrow range. Considering what is available in the world, you're going to be eating a narrow range. Dale, so if I only consume nightshades, legumes, and lectins, I won't feel good? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people that go this vegan route, they feel like shit because their body is probably rejecting all these inflammatory proteins and defense mechanisms in plants. They exist. They're there for a reason, to protect the plants so the plants can evolve and the plants can continue to live. And most of the vegetables that we eat now have been designed by humans over the course of years and years and years to be edible. Most plants are not edible. You go into the forest, you can't eat the shit in there. You can't just fucking eat grass. You get sick. Why? Because you're not supposed to fucking eat it. What animal can we not eat as human beings, right? What animal can we not consume? Is there an animal that you can't eat that? You're going to be sick from it. Not really. Not really. There are a lot of plants you can't eat, but how many animals, if we eat that, we're going to be sick and die? I don't know many. What, a blowfish? Okay, that's not really like a popular thing. I've noticed I feel more satisfied with less beef than more chicken. I feel more satiated with less beef than more chicken. You mean it takes less beef to satisfy you than chicken? I don't eat a lot of chicken because chicken's not that quality of a protein. Grass-fed beef is far more nutritious than lean chicken. That's why it tastes better plain, because it has fat. It has a lot more macros, a lot more calories in it. More omega-3s, CLA, and all these other good nutrients. Chicken is very blah. Chicken is very blah. It's a weaker meat, in my opinion. And that's just from my personal reaction to it. When I eat chicken, okay, it might be good, or you can get quality chicken and cook it well, and oh, I love this shit. It tastes good. I never feel the same way, and I wouldn't eat it regularly. I wouldn't make it a staple of my nutrition. Not anymore. It used to be. I had a lot of acid reflux, but this is years ago, like 10 years ago, and I was eating really shitty chicken though. I was eating like this bulk $1.69 chicken breast that was huge, probably pumped full of fucking hormones. These are probably from cockfighting chickens. Yeah, and I just have nasty acid reflux. So I went on like a full clean boom. I don't know if I didn't go vegan. I went like vegetarian for like 6 months. Completely got rid of my acid reflux, and then I came back with grass-fed beef and grass-fed this, and really never came back. So it wasn't the meat that was giving me acid reflux, it was the quality. And that's when it really struck home that, oh, it's not that I can't eat meat, it's that I was eating too much, and I was eating garbage meat. I was eating crappy chicken. But if I'm eating quality meat, I've never had acid reflux from eating my quality grass-fed beef. I've never had any bad feeling from it. Ever. The quality matters. It's not about, oh, it's lean cut. Fuck that shit. If it's grain fed, it's low quality. It's just, that's the way it is. It's not a healthy animal. It's not a healthy, this animal does not have quality nutrients. They eat grain. This animal, it's like eating a sick human. You wouldn't want to eat a fucking sick human, sick, overweight, obese human that just eats fast food all the time. They're a sick person. You know, we're not cannibals, but that's a sick animal. A human junk food is a sick animal. And these cows and these animals that are fed grains and corn and hormones, they're sick animals. You want to eat a sick animal? These animals are dead before they actually die. They're just sick. So then they package them, and it looks like, oh, like red meat in a package. It's fucking a sick animal that you're eating. You're literally eating sick meat. Not a good idea. Not a good look. And it translates into your body. You're going to feel that shit. And I know that firsthand. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I literally lived this. I know. If it was the meat, I would have acid reflux now. I would have crazy acid reflux. Never. I drink coffee. No acid reflux. None. When I was eating chicken 2 or 3 times a day, I was bulking, eat a lot of chicken, right? I was eating fucking crappy chicken. Crazy acid reflux. I have not had acid reflux once since eating grass-fed and really paying attention to the quality and what I'm eating. Never came back. And I eat a lot of beef. So, I mean, and that's not a scientific study, but that's literally, I put that into practice for me. That's what I did. That's my result. Now I want someone to tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me that I'm wrong. I mean, Prilosec, I was taking Prilosec, right? For the acid reflux. I wasn't solving the problem, but it helped it go away. And it was like, oh my God, I felt like Prilosec saved my fucking life because it was brutal. But then when I fixed the fucking problem, it never came back. And it wasn't the fucking meat. It was, but it was the quality of the food. It was what I was eating. It wasn't the entire category. And that's where people get that shit twisted. Rodney, some coffee gives me acid reflux. Well, I have had acid reflux when I went to visit my best friend in Ohio. We went out a couple times, this local place, and just, we have fun. And this is what we always did. We had chicken wings and a couple beers and stuff. I had crazy crazy acid reflux. I felt the taste. I felt like fucking shit for like a week after I came home. You know, not necessarily in the moment, but man, yeah. I ate super, super fucking clean and consistent, and I felt that. I knew I would. I knew I wouldn't feel great. I wasn't eating it for performance. But shit, every once in a while, I need to do that myself. I need to fucking remind myself why I do what I do. You know, a little bump in the road, but oh, yeah, for sure. It just makes me want to stick on my shit harder. I had bad acid reflux before I lost a lot of weight. Now, not so much. It makes a difference. Well, weight makes a big difference, but I mean, come on. The quality of the food. So with all these variables, just in closing, with all the variables that are out there that can affect your nutrition, that's why I personally go so hard on what you're consuming. I don't want to get too much into counting calories. If you want to get out of scale and fucking micromanage, if you want to get out of scale and micromanage your nutrition, if you want to get out a watch and be like, okay, I can only eat between these time periods, or I can't eat food in the morning, then you can do that. You can do that. That's not the most important thing. That's not going to make the difference. If you want to count calories, if you want to do all these different, things in between and really micromanage your stuff, it's not necessary, but you can do it. If you focus really your energy on what you're consuming, everything else will fall into place. I promise you. You either won't have to do intermittent fasting, or you won't have to count your calories so much. You can visually do it. It depends on what you want, but I'm telling you, if you get the most important basics and foundation right, a lot of these other questions answer themselves, or they lend themselves to be answered more readily for you on a custom, individualized basis. It's funny because it reflected in your podcast. You're definitely a bit flatter. Well, I wasn't like working out every day, and the lighting and everything was different. So that's why. I mean, I just wasn't training. I did a couple workouts, but nothing really hardcore. Anytime you're out of your usual routine, it's going to be a challenge. But, when you know what works best for you, it's easier to stay on it. And it makes you really not want to cheat. If you're going to cheat and you're going to have something bad, if you know what it's going to do to your body, you don't really want to cheat. I haven't had a beer in so fucking long, and it's because I don't want to feel bloated. I don't want that sluggishness that comes from it. I'm not necessarily looking forward to having those chicken wings again, because I mean, it's easy. Look, I understand it's easy to justify these things and make an excuse, but fuck, I'm not an idiot. I have a memory. I know what it's going to feel like after. And then you have to make that decision. Like, do I want to feel like shit? Do I really want to feel like that? And a lot of people try to justify it. Like, oh, well, it's going to be good now. I deserve it. Oh, it'll be all right. It'll be all right this time. Psh, no, it won't. Be the same fucking thing. Be the same thing. The cleaner you eat, the healthier you are, the less these little speed bumps will affect you. However, still affects you. You're going to feel it. When you're really in touch with your body and you notice all the changes, it makes a huge difference. So keep that in mind. And remember, anyone that's watching now, 50% off. Remember, go to swolenormousx.com. I put a link in the description on Facebook, and it's also, I linked it yesterday. I think it's probably still up there on my Instagram story. I'll make a note of it again, but you can always go to swolenormousx.com. You go to the store, you click on monthly unlimited, and it's a special offer only going through tomorrow. There's one more day. Do not miss it. I have my Nutrition Jumpstart, all my programs, everything you need. So the last 3 months of this year will not be a problem for you. I'm telling you, don't let it be a problem. Don't let it be a problem. Don't slack. Don't slack. This is the last 3 months. I'm going to be crushing it over the holidays. And I encourage you to do the same. Don't be a lazy beast. You're going to regret it January 1st when you realize, I could have been fucking finishing the 90-day dash program rather than just starting it. And now I gained 15 pounds and I feel like a fucking hot plate of garbage. You know that feeling. It's going to come. It's going to come. And this whole cycle will repeat every year. The calendar is a real good trick. The calendar is a real good trick. It tricks you into thinking everything's brand new on this day. Every fucking day is brand new. The sun rises, the same shit. They scam you into thinking that this is the time. This is your day for this. This is the day for this. No. Every day is the same. It's up to you how much longer you want to be unhealthy, how much longer you want to be overweight, how much longer you want to be skinny, how much longer before you want to do something the right way and start in the right place. So that's what this offer is all about. SwoleNormousX.com, monthly unlimited, 50% off, one more day. Don't miss it. I'll see everyone else. I'm going to be on Instagram, all this, blah, blah, blah. Going to get my pump on today. I'll see you all tomorrow for episode 870. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, and Pimpcast and Sleevescast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. And make sure to check out the podcast. Subscribe if you ain't. And you can check out all the apps and all the places to listen to the podcast. SwoleNormousX.com, main menu, click on podcast. And I usually put that also, the latest podcast, in my swipe up, my story on Instagram, @SwoleNormous, and also usually in the bio as well. So go check that out there. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Papa Swolio. Out.